All right, welcome back. Let's take you to the United Kingdom now. And it seems South Africans and Britons are fighting some of the same battles when it comes to our power supply, but Brits are using innovative ways to fight off the big chill and avoid higher energy bills. The British media is reporting that people are now wearing, and this is very serious, they're wearing coats inside. Have you seen how thick a UK coat is? Now you're wearing it inside. They're also limiting TV use and putting children in extra layers. So let's head over to UK correspondent Olly Barratt, who has decoated himself for the day, but he's at least just wearing a jacket and tie for us this morning. Hello to you, Olly. So it seems misery is shared at the moment. How bad is the power issue there? Because I imagine it's affecting everyday citizens, but no doubt it's affecting your economy as well.
That's right. I mean, in the first instance, what is happening is that we're heading into winter here in the UK. So temperatures are falling. It's the time of year when households would be thinking normally about turning their heating on for the winter. What is different this year is that energy prices have spiked so much that people are having conversations about whether they can afford to do that, whether they might put that date back a little bit, whether they might heat their houses to a slightly lower temperature than normal to try and save as much money as possible. Now, for many households, that's just a case of trying to shave a bit off their bills and off their usage. For some households, it's much more stark, obviously, and we're hearing a lot of charities, for example, talking about the heating or eating crisis that is potentially looming in the UK for poorer households and individuals this winter, those people that might not be able to afford to heat their houses if they want to feed themselves properly. So it is going to be stark for many individuals here in the UK. Now, a lot of this is related to the price spikes that we've been seeing all around the world as a result partly of the crisis in Ukraine. The government response to it here in the UK has been to roll out what it calls an energy price cap. And what that means is that no household can pay above what is essentially a capped unit price. And so the government is saying that for an average household, their bills will not be able to go above £2,500. Now, that's about 50,000 rand over a certain period. And what the government is doing essentially is paying the difference and making sure that energy prices are at least capped around where they are headed into this winter period, so they won't spike further from where they are at the moment. But many households will say, well, that still leaves us paying much more than we were last year, and therefore you are hearing a lot of those conversations about making sure the kids are wearing a jumper at home rather than the heating going on and that kind of thing. It is a classic water cooler conversation. You are hearing it everywhere up and down the country with the UK winter setting in.
And it looks like it's really been a perfect storm from the UK as well, because we've seen COVID resurging back over in China. Now we understand the demand there for energy as well, now that they're coming out of their restrictions. Obviously, we know about Ukraine, Russia, and I see as well, according to The Guardian, Olly, that there's been one or two of your power supplies coming over from Europe, which have also been badly affected. The UK relies on a lot of power and gas over from Europe. So a butterfly flaps its wings in Russia and the UK suffers.
Exactly right, and there's a lot of conversations going on now between European countries to make sure that the normal energy sharing that we see with electricity and gas moving in all sorts of different directions at different times for different reasons continues through this winter period, so you don't see a form of energy nationalism where individual countries are looking out for themselves and therefore leading to potential blackouts in other countries that would normally take supplies from them. Here in the UK, the national grid, which runs the power supply system and the network, is saying that in the worst case scenario, if, for example, the wind doesn't blow at the right times, then there could be blackouts over this winter period from time to time. We're talking about isolated periods of a few hours here and there. The government is saying it thinks that's unlikely, that it thinks its energy supplies are in good shape. But there's also been a political argument about whether the government should be involved in actively encouraging people and households and businesses to use less energy over this winter period to avoid some of those crunches on energy supply, but it certainly is a perfect storm. And when you add into that some of the other economic difficulties that the UK is facing, some of them which resonate and replicate issues that other countries are facing, some of which are certainly unique to this country at the moment, then, as you say, it really does represent a perfect storm, and it means that clouds are certainly gathering in economic terms ahead of the winter here in Britain.